Yes, good afternoon traders. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Traders Hub YouTube channel where we post trading educational content and weekly technical analysis. With you is Mali Mathman, head trader at Traders Hub, and without wasting time, let's jump into the charts. Yes, as usual, we're going to start with dollar index from the higher time frame, and this is what we're looking at on the daily time frame. We had this break of structure, yes, following that break of structure we had a good retracement to discounted zone, and from there you can see the price rallied and broke the structure again. So we are going to label this as another break of structure, and clearly we can see that we are currently trading on a premium zone. And if you are keen from last week, I think not really from last week, but from last week but one, I've been anticipating for a correction to at least discounted zones around 61.8 or 50 Fibonacci levels before we continue pushing further. But unfortunately last week was tough. Last week was very tough, as the markets did not respect our analysis. And so you can see that we were anticipating that from this high we get a deeper correction to these levels and probably take this internal liquidity before we push further up. But yes, but that did not happen, and you can see that even from the daily time frame we had a break of structure to the upside here, which is more clear on the 4-hour time frame. We're going to see it there. Yes, and so whenever we see price shifting shifting the trend and breaking structure on the other side, you have to be keen, and especially on these higher time frames like the 4-hour or even the daily time frames, you have to pay a significant amount of attention to it, as it takes more to get these movements, and so they are more often the true movements. Okay, and so yes, from my analysis last week, you can see that I was anticipating we retrace to these levels, okay, and push lower and attain that higher time frame correction. Okay, but you can see that the price did push to our area and gave us smart money trap. Okay, this is SMT, and so last week we were used as liquidity, and unfortunately that's part of the game. And so yes, you can see that if the price got to this level and started pushing lower, but it only pushed lower to to induce the sellers and to trap smart money sellers who are looking to sell on any break of structure. And so this is what I was looking, but clearly you can see that we had a swipe of liquidity, we can say that, or probably trend change. And so yes, these movement on the 4-hour, they are very significant. And so this coming week, I'll be looking for this correction and take this internal liquidity probably and this last internal liquidity before we push up. Okay, and I'm anticipating the markets to push higher, and yes, it is on these levels. We have this first internal liquidity over there, we have this second, and most importantly this third internal liquidity. And so it is on these levels that I'm anticipating the continuation, the bullish continuation will come. Okay, so yes, this is my bias for the week, and price can easily come and take all these, price can easily come and push lower, okay, because yes, price usually moves after attaining liquidity or after taking liquidity as form of fuel to push it further. And so probably we could have been used as liquidity, and after swipe of this liquidity here, this high probably is the real movement going to happen. And so still it is 50-50, okay, but I'm more inclined to the upside than to the downside, but nevertheless we're going to see how the markets will react. Yes, and so that's my analysis on the dollar index, and let's move forward to Euro USD. Like I mentioned earlier, this week was a bit tough, okay, and this is normal in the, yes, this is very normal in the financial markets, as even in any business, losses are part of businesses, okay, you just cannot win every single day. And so sometimes you'll have your bias violated straight, okay, and that is part of this business. You have to, yes, you have to put up with it, okay. And so I can see that we have several drawings here, but let's just do away with these drawings, but we can leave this from the lower time frame. And yes, what do we have on the euro dollar? Clearly you can see that we had this break of structure, okay, you can label it as trend change. After this break of structure, you can see that we had this break of structure, and I've been pretty much, this is the same analysis probably from the last 2 weeks. And so after every break of structure, we anticipate a correction to premium zones or discounted zones before we continue pushing with the direction of the trend. And clearly you can see that we corrected to the premium zones, okay, and we flashed to the downside. And so it's only fair after printing this impulsive leg, it's only fair for us to get that correction, and it is this correction that we have been anticipating to get for the last 2 weeks, probably to take this internal liquidity, and last but not least this internal liquidity. But unfortunately that did not happen. And for us to clearly see what has been happening, we have to go to the lower time frame, which is the 4-hour. Yes, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Yes, on the 4-hour we can see that this was the clean break of structure to the last clean break of structure to the downside. And ever since we had this break of structure, price started somehow consolidating, and then we had this break of structure, okay. Yes, after this break of structure, as usual, after every break of structure, we anticipate a correction to premium zones or discounted zones before we get that follow through. And so we got that break of structure which we have labeled here, and after that break of structure it is correction, and I got this very good setup longs. I took these setups and we got this, yes, we had this follow through which gave us that break of structure. Okay, however, you can see that price broke structure to the upside, but did not yes, we did take this liquidity, but the price failed to maintain the price above those highs. Okay, and we did not only take this liquidity, but we also took yes, we also took the liquidity which was up around this swing high. Okay, and so pretty much that could be the catalyst for this move down. Okay, because pretty much yes, when we have a shift of structure on the lower time frame to fulfill that, yes, to fulfill that correction of the higher time frame, we don't anticipate price to do such things. Okay, yes, especially price breaking structures to the upside and downside and taking a very significant liquidity blocks. And so it is my anticipation that this is a break of structure here. You can call break of structure or trend change, okay, or church, whatever you want to call it. And I'm anticipating corrections. Okay, correction to take this internal liquidity and last these trendline liquidity here before we push price further to the downside. Okay, and so I'm anticipating we take this internal liquidity over here and this internal liquidity, which will then act as a catalyst for the price to go lower. Okay, that is what I'm looking for. I'm more inclined to the downside, but you can see that this liquidity block here has maintained this price, and so probably we could still see this low driving this price higher to fulfill that higher time frame correction before we get that higher time frame continuation. And so that's my analysis for the week, but I'm more inclined to the downside. Okay, and so my most high probable shorts will come from these zones. Yes, I'll be looking for most high probable trades from this high here and push price further down after we take these two internal liquidity and fulfill that Fibonacci retracements to the premium zones. Okay, and so yes, that's my analysis on Euro USD. And moving forward, let's check out GBP USD. As usual, we are going to start from the higher time frame, and for that case you are starting from the daily time frame. Yes, can see that we had this break of structure. Where is my label? Yes, we had this break of structure. After that break of structure, as usual, we must have that correction, and after correction, as usual, we anticipate the continuation, yes, of the trend to the downside. And so pretty much this is the pattern that I'm watching for, and you can see that if we take that high to this current low, price has retraced to 78.6 Fibonacci retracement. However, I was so skeptical about this setup on GU last week, because all these setups, yes, whatever you have, whatever analysis you have on the dollar index, it should be inversely correlated to these other pairs, okay, like Euro USD and GBP USD. However, GBP USD was pretty much acting strangely, and it is for that case I wasn't really interested with it. But coming this week, I can see it is very, very interesting, since we had that shift of structure to the downside, okay, and the confluence that we have on the dollar index. And for that case, I'll be looking to continue this downtrend, okay, and net this week I'll be short. Yes, I'll be not short. I'll be net short this coming week, because clearly you can see that this is the last break of structure to the upside, okay, and price, after reaching those highs, price this low could not hold price any longer, and that's why we had this break of structure to the downside, okay. And yes, let's label it as trend change. And so after every break of structure we anticipate correction, and for this case I'm anticipating we take this internal liquidity, and last but not least this last internal liquidity before we get that move to the downside. Yes, this is the short, probably that could work, but nevertheless we're going to see how the price will work. And yes, you can take this short with this swing high here, but still you can couple it with a confirmation, okay. Yes, you can wait for price to take these highs and probably wait for lower time frame confirmation before you take this price lower, okay. But overall, that is what I'll be looking, and once the price reaches this area, you can take the short. As you can see, we have a very good risk to reward ratio, and for this case we have 1:5.29. Yes, this is what I'll be looking for coming this week on the GBP USD. And so moving forward, let's look at gold. Yes. So what do we have on gold? As usual, we're going to start from the daily time frame, and from the daily time frame clearly we can see that this is the last break of structure to the downside, okay, and this currently here is our swing high, and this down here is our swing low. And so whatever is happening inside here is all internal. And yes, so if we plot our Fibonacci to this high, from this high I mean to this swing low, we can see that yes, the price has attained that 50% Fibonacci levels, but the price has failed to break this structure to the downside, and this is a sign that sellers are not in control, and buyers have come in, very strong to protect this high and probably to push this price and attain that premium zones, probably swipe this liquidity, internal liquidity, and last but not least this internal liquidity, which will act as fuel to push this price further downside. And so on the daily time frame, gold, this is what I'll be looking for, a retracement to around 42,80 before we push lower. But yes, we can get that 4280, but most attainable areas are 42.23. Okay, yes, moving to the lower time frame, we can see that clearly we have a very good internal liquidity here. Yes, this is a very good internal liquidity which will act as catalyst for this price to push lower. Okay, and so I think in line with the daily time frame, it's only fair for us to get maybe not 42.70s areas, but probably take this high. Yes, take this high before we push lower. Okay, and so I don't wanna involve myself in these longs to this area, but definitely the shorts are more favored with the higher time frame trend, and so I'll be looking to involve myself in gold trades only when the price comes to these highs. And so that's my analysis on the gold, and pretty much you can see that price has shifted bullish. Okay, you can see that price here has shifted bullish because we are printing series of lower lows and lower highs, but failing to take this swing low, we change the character, and currently yes, probably you can say that we are, yes, let's head lower on the 1 hour time frame. Probably you can have this setup. Okay, yes, probably this could have been there. Yes, that breakout structure, and this was the correction to Fibonacci 61.8. Okay, probably, maybe, but I think it will be more favorable. Yes, it will be more favorable. I don't wanna I don't wanna force this analysis. Okay, because we can see that on the 1 hour, yes, we had this trend change or church, and we took this internal liquidity here, but still we have this yes, we have these two internal liquidity, but this internal here liquidity too. Okay, so probably it's very easy for this price to push lower before head higher. Okay, and that's why as retail traders, it is yes, we make more money in these markets being flexible and follow what the markets really show us than being rigid and really predict what will happen, and more often it's not what will happen, because as you know, we are not really in control of these markets. We only follow the footprints of the big financial institutions and the big financial traders. Okay, and for this case, I think yes, probably this sweep of internal liquidity could push this price higher, but for us to really confirm that, I think for us to really confirm that, we need to have this follow through. Okay, which you are going to label it as a breakout structure. Then probably you can look for these longs. Okay, these continuation longs to push the price further up. Okay, you can see that, yes, the lower time frame is showing us that somehow after that swipe of liquidity, the price has now shifted bullish. Okay, but for you, I think it's easier for you, for anyone, for us to capitalize on this continuation after this break of structure again here. Then yes, after this break of structure, then we take all this internal liquidity, and for this case we can have this long over here, stop loss down here, and targets up there. Now this is a confirmation based entry, and it's more of a continuation, and most likely such setups will work as there are more things which are in confluence. Okay, and for that case, liquidity, internal liquidity, as a catalyst and fuel for this price to push higher. Okay, and if for that case, if this fails to push higher, you can get that. Yes, now this, if it fails to push higher, you will get that swipe of this liquidity, and last but not least, swipe of this internal liquidity before we start shifting the lower time frames to attain the higher time frames target. Okay, and pretty much this is what I'll be looking for. And if this did not happen, I'll be looking for these setups, continuation setups only. So that's my analysis on gold. Now last but not least, we can check BTC. Yes, I know we have a lot of traders who are looking forward to this analysis, and pretty much I think you will allow me to start from here, and nothing has changed. Yes, nothing has changed really much, because you can see that this was the last break of structure, and this is our swing high over here, our swing low over here. Whatever is happening inside here is internal, and so pretty much this high could push this price to these lows. Okay, yes, this is what I'm watching on the daily time frame. And yes, you can see that internally we've been having yes, price has been printing higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. Let me do away with this. You can see that price has been printing higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and this is higher high, and currently this is our higher low. And so we probably price could do this, print that high before pushing lower, or we can see price breaking breaking this in, breaking the lower time frame trend to give us that short and very good entry points before we push this price lower. And so on the daily time frame, this is what I'm looking for. But as we all know, the daily time frame takes much time to play out, and so we have to head lower and see what the market has to offer. Yes. Yes. I took this short once we took this internal liquidity, and once we had this good follow through movement, yes, I took all my positions to break even, as I'm anticipating that once we take this internal liquidity, it should be the catalyst for this price to head lower. And for that case, I was anticipating that once we take this internal liquidity, we break structure. Okay, we take this low and change that structure, and yes, after that change of character, I was anticipating a correction to get that continuation. But clearly, you can see that price did not break structure to the downside, and currently this was the swing high. Now you can see that this this swing low printed that swing high, and so this is our current swing low and this is our current swing high. And so yes, we have clearly, you can see that we have a fight here between bulls and bears. Okay, we have the daily time frame signaling bearish movement. Okay, and on the 4 hour we can see that it is signaling bullish movement. Okay, and so we have a tug of war here between the sellers and buyers. Okay, but yes, but it's only when the lower time frame shifts, okay, and aligns with the higher time frame is when we will get high probable setups. Okay, and for this case it's only, yes, and for this case one can still yes, if you took these shorts from this high and your stop loss was this swing high, still those setups are very valid setups. Okay, very valid setups. And still this is a very valid setup to take. And still this is a very valid setup to take, which is in line with 4-hour trend. Okay, clearly you can see that break of structure, we started from here, break of structure, correction, break of structure, correction, break of structure, correction, break of structure. This could be just another correction before we get that continuation. And yes, probably take all these smart money traps, all these smart money traders who are trapped here, and attain that, yes, attain around I'm anticipating for the price to attain 69 or 70k before we head lower. And so this is a very valid setup to take from this low. But if we get that break of structure, okay, if this low doesn't sustain the price above this, okay, I'll now shift from from net longs to net short. Okay, and that will be a very good continuation setup. Let's do away with this, and that will be a very good continuation setup with stop loss above this swing high and targets down here, and you can see that that will be around 1:8.17. Yes, traders, and I guess that's it for the week. That's it for the week, and that's my analysis on the BTC, and pretty much that's what I'll be looking for coming this week. And yes, for anyone who is new here, this is Traders Hub YouTube channel, where we post trading educational content and weekly technical analysis every week to help you traders prepare for the coming week. And just a favor, please, if you, yes, just like a favor, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button for you to get notified whenever we release a new educational content or a weekly technical analysis. And with you is Mali Mathman, head trader at Traders Hub. And yes, currently we are running a mentorship program, a 3-month mentorship program, and we have very special offers running. And so if you are interested in getting a professional mentorship, we'll be very glad to hear from you and probably to work with you and get you profitable. And for that case, I rest my case. Looking forward to see you next week. Sharp.